Welcome to my channel CoachIQ. Today we do Nationalism in Europe. The first MCQ. Name the French artist who in 1848 prepared a series of 4 prints showing his dream of a world made of democracy and social republics. A. Giuseppe Mazzini, B. Frederick de Sorrieu, or C. Leonardo da Vinci. The answer is B. Frederick de Sorrieu. The next one. Which is the right statement? 3 have been given. Utopia means a society in which there is despotic rule, means a society where the conservatives rule, means a society that is so ideal that it is unlikely to exist. The answer is C. Utopia means a society that is so ideal, that is so perfect, that it is unlikely to exist. The next MCQ. Why did Sorrieu use Christ, saints, and angels in his painting? To symbolize friendship among the nations, to symbolize sisterhood among the nations of the world, or to symbolize fraternity among the nations of the world? The answer is C. To symbolize fraternity, that is brotherhood, amongst the nations of the world. The next MCQ. In Sorrieu's painting, on the earth in the foreground lie the shattered image of which institutions? It means in his painting, in the foreground, that is in front, on the ground, he shows broken images of which institution? Is it democratic, is it absolutist, or is it family? It is B, absolutist. In Sorrieu's first print, people of which continents are offering their homage to the Statue of Liberty? Asia and Europe, Europe and Africa, or Europe and America? It is C, Europe and America. The next MCQ. Sorrieu in his painting shows the people of Germany carrying a flag of the following colors: black, red, and gold, red, green, and white, or black, green, and red. You have to choose one. The answer is A, black, red, and gold. The next one. What is the right form for the following statement? What is the right term? The statement is a direct vote by which all the people of a region are asked to accept or reject a proposal. That is, the people directly vote, they have to say yes or no for a particular proposal. They have to vote that way. Is it suffrage, plebiscite, or sovereign? The answer is B, plebiscite. The next MCQ. During the 19th century, nationalism brought about a multitude of changes in the political and mental world of Europe. What was the end result of these changes? A. Emergence of autocracy instead of multi-dynastic empires, emergence of the nation state instead of the multi-dynastic empires, or emergence of the rule of workers instead of the multi-dynastic empires. So many changes were taking place. What was the end result? It was B. That is, instead of the multi-dynastic empires, now there was the emergence of the nation state. The next MCQ. The first clear expression of nationalism came with which event? The French Revolution of 1789, the Greek War of Independence, or the Napoleonic Wars? Very easy answer. The French Revolution of 1789. The next MCQ. What was the Estates General renamed as? National Academy, National Association, or National Assembly? It is C, National Assembly. The next MCQ. The ideas of La Patrie and Le Citoyen emphasize the notion means idea, of a divided community having equal rights under a constitution, a united community having equal rights under a monarchy, or a united community having equal rights under a constitution. So you have to see which type of community, what are the rights, and under what. So the right answer is C. The community has to be united, the rights have to be equal, and under a constitution. The next one. What is the Civil Code of 1804 also known as? The Napoleonic Code, the French Code, or the Zollverein? The answer is A, the Napoleonic Code. The next MCQ. In mid-18th century, which parts of Europe were under autocratic monarchies and diverse people lived in these parts? Western and Central Europe, Eastern and Western Europe, or Eastern and Central Europe? The answer is C, Eastern and Central Europe. The next MCQ. Which was the language spoken by the aristocrats in Galicia? Magyar, Polish, or Italian? In Galicia, it is the Polish language. The next one. The main language spoken by the aristocrats in Lombardy and Venetia was Italian, German, or Polish? The answer is A, Italian. The next one. In Hungary, half the population spoke which language? And the other half spoke different dialects. So half the population, did they speak Italian, Polish, or Magyar? The answer is C, Magyar. Now here you can just associate Hungary is the name of a country, but hungry is when you want to eat. So when you're hungry, what do you really like to eat? Maggie. So just remember Hungary and Magyar. Just associate it that way. Or you can use your own associations, of course. The next one. Which empire ruled over Austria-Hungary? The Bourbon dynasty, the Habsburg Empire, or the Tudor dynasty? The answer is B, the Habsburg Empire. The next one. The aristocrats of Europe spoke which language for diplomacy and high society? French, German, or Italian? The answer is A, French. The aristocrats of Europe usually spoke French. The next one. When did the Napoleonic Wars start? 1797, 1793, or 1795? The answer is 1797. That is when Napoleon invaded Italy. The next MCQ. When did industrialization start in England? Second half of the 18th century, second half of the 17th century, second half of the 16th century? The answer is A, second half of the 18th century. That is, it started in the 1780s. The next MCQ. With the wake of industrialization, which new social groups came into existence? So when industrialization started, which were the new social groups? A, working class and middle class, B, middle class and aristocrats, C, working class and soldiers? The answer is A, working class and the middle class. So with industrialization, you had these two new groups in society. The next one. Since the French Revolution, liberalism had stood for the end of autocracy and clerical privileges, formation of a constitution, representative government through a parliament, or all of the above. So since the French Revolution, what did liberalism stand for? Of course, it stood for autocracy to be ended. They didn't want the clergy to have any privileges, that is clerical privileges, and the demand was constitution. They wanted laws to be there, written rules, and they also wanted a government which would rule through a parliament. So all three are right. So the answer is D, all of the above. The next one. Zollverein was which type of a union? Political union, social union, or customs union? The answer is C, customs union. The next one. Which of the following powers had collectively defeated Napoleon? Britain, Russia, Prussia, Germany, France, Britain, Russia, and Austria, Britain, Russia, Prussia, and Austria, or Britain, Russia, Prussia, and Australia. Now, I've put Australia because I see many students making this mistake. Please remember, Austria is in Europe. Australia by itself is another continent, and Australia has nothing to do with this lesson. So just remove it from your mind. Okay, so now what is the answer? C. Britain, Russia, Prussia, and Austria. Just remember, first of all, understand Napoleon was so powerful that four countries had to come together, four nations had to come together in order to defeat him. So, which were they? Remember, the three were ending with IA, that is Russia, Prussia, and Austria. And the fourth one was that country which ruled over us for so many years, that is Britain. So, the answer is Britain, Russia, Prussia, and Austria, the C one. The next one, Mazzini was sent into exile at the age of 24 for attempting a revolution in which place? Estonia, Galicia, or Liguria? The answer is C, Liguria. The next MCQ, the term liberalism is got from which Latin root and it means free? Liber, liver, or leader? The answer is A, liber. The next one, when was the Zollverein formed? 1836, 1847, or 1834? It is C, 1834. Who took the initiative to form the Zollverein? Austria, France, or Prussia? The answer is Prussia, C1. The next one, who hosted the Vienna Congress in 1815? Otto von Bismarck, Napoleon, Louis Philippe, or Duke Metternich? The answer is D, Duke Metternich. The next one, how were land holdings characterized in Eastern and Central Europe? That is, what was the type of land holdings in Central and Eastern Europe? The holdings were small, that is small in size, cultivated by tenants, or were they vast estates and cultivated by tenants, or were they vast estates and cultivated by serfs? The answer is C, vast estates cultivated by serfs. The next one, which is the incorrect statement from the following ones regarding economic liberalism? So, which statement is wrong? In the economic sphere, liberalism stood for freedom of markets. B, abolition of state-imposed restrictions on the movement of goods and capital. Or C, imposing custom duties and tariff barriers. So, regarding economic liberalism, which is the wrong statement? A, it stood for freedom of the markets. Of course, it did stand for that. Second, they didn't want restrictions imposed by the state regarding the movement of goods, commodities, capital, finance. C, imposing custom duties and tariff barriers. So the answer is C. This is a wrong statement. That is imposing custom duties and barriers, tariff barriers. The next one, name the dynasty deposed. Deposed is removed during the French Revolution. Galician dynasty, Bourbon dynasty, or the Habsburg dynasty? The answer is B, Bourbon dynasty. The next one, which country is known as the cradle of European civilization? Italy, France, or Greece? The answer is C, Greece. The next one, who was the founder of Young Italy and Young Europe? Cavour, Giuseppe Mazzini, or Giuseppe Garibaldi? The answer is B, Mazzini. The next one, which was one of the major issues taken up by the liberal nationalists against the conservative regimes set up in 1815. So, which issue did they take up? Freedom of movement, freedom of press, or freedom of association? The answer is B, freedom of press. The next one, when France sneezes, the rest of Europe catches a cold. Who said this? Otto von Bismarck, Metternich, or Frederick William IV? It is Metternich who made this statement. The next one, who was called as the most dangerous enemy of our social order by Metternich? Cavour, Giuseppe Garibaldi, or Giuseppe Mazzini? The answer is C, Mazzini. Metternich felt he was a very dangerous enemy for the social order of aristocrats. The next MCQ. Why did Metternich call Mazzini as the most dangerous enemy of our social order? Why did he give this statement? A. Mazzini's opposition to monarchy, Mazzini's vision of democratic republics. Conservatives were frightened by the ideas of Mazzini, or all of the above? It is all of the above. Because he opposed monarchy, because Mazzini had this vision of democratic republic, and the conservatives were truly frightened by all his ideas. That is why Metternich made this statement. So the answer is D, all of the above. The next one, what was the consequence of the July Revolution in 1830? The Bourbon kings were overthrown by the liberal revolutionaries. A constitutional monarchy with Louis Philippe at its head was installed. Or an uprising took place in Brussels and Belgium broke away from the United Kingdom of the Netherlands. Or is it all of the above? So when the July Revolution took place in 1830, what all things happened? First, the Bourbon kings were removed. Second, of course, a constitutional monarchy. Constitutional monarchy is the king is there, but he will follow all the rules of the constitution. He can't do what he wants. So, a constitutional monarchy with Louis Philippe was installed, of course, yes. Third, uprising took place in Brussels. So, all the three are right. So, the answer is all of the above. The next one, name the English poet who died of fever when he went to fight in the Greek War of Independence. Lord Byron, Robert Frost, or Lord Tennyson? The answer is Lord Byron. The next one, the aim of the Zollverein is to bind the Germans economically into a nation. Who wrote these words? Frederick List, Bismarck, or Sorrieu? The answer is Frederick List. He was an economist. The next one, the first expression of nationalism in Europe came with the French Revolution of 1789, the Russian Revolution of 1917, or the July Revolution of 1830. A. The French Revolution of 1789 actually brought the idea of nationalism. The next one, the main aim of Zollverein was impose custom duties on imported gas, abolish tariff barriers, reduce custom duties, or introduce trade barriers. So, what was the aim of Zollverein? The answer is B, abolish tariff barriers. The next one, the July Revolution of 1830 led to an uprising in Brussels. So, what was the outcome? Greece broke away from the Ottoman Empire, Belgium broke away from the United Kingdom of Netherlands, or Hungary broke away from the Habsburg Empire? The answer is B. Belgium broke away from the United Kingdom of Netherlands. The next one, which was the treaty which recognized Greece as an independent nation? Treaty of Vienna, Act of Union, or Treaty of Constantinople? The answer is C. Treaty of Constantinople. The next one, Greece had been part of which empire since the 15th century? Habsburg Empire, Ottoman Empire, or the Bourbon Empire? The answer is B. Ottoman Empire. In this MCQ, you have the picture of a person. Now here in this question, we tell you the picture is of Napoleon. What is Napoleon doing? He's shown as a courier delivering letters to various towns. He's shown as a soldier doing a postman's work, delivering letters to various places. Or he's depicted as a postman and the letters bear the name of the territories he had lost. So what does this caricature depict? What does it tell you? The answer is the third one. He's shown as a postman, and all those letters which are falling out of his bag are the names of the territories he had lost after the battle at Leipzig. So these are the MCQs for a part of the lesson.
I really hope this topic has become clearer. And if you have any queries, please post them in the comments below. And do like the video, share it with your friends and classmates, and subscribe to my channel to continue studying with CoachIQ.